And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the South Range Raider Coaches Show with Dave Rach, the undefeated South Range Raiders. Still to this day, and my buddy, you come back in, the boys are back. That was the motto, so to speak, last week. I listened to that song probably 800 times.
There you go.
800 times. You got me all fired up. And then what you have here is a rematch of sorts. You guys, get through Fairless, which – you handled your business. I guess that's the easiest way to look at it. Your starters are pulled, the majority of them out in the second half. Gave some opportunities for some guys to get some playoff experience. What did you see in that Fairless game that maybe we didn't see from the bird's eye view for YSN?
I think you said it. Just getting the guys in there early. They executed at a high level. We try to get them out as early as possible. You're trying to remain healthy this time of year, but the other part of it is you want your depth to continue to improve and you hope that getting those young guys in there, kind of starts getting them hardened up, in terms of the playoff environment, but also, provides, I think, valuable experience for them, moving forward in the years to come.
All right, so we're going to jump right to, some people that, you've looked to as a hero.
Oh.
Talk to me about some guy that's out there that has had a major influence on your life.
Oh. Man, you guys surprised me. I think anytime you look up to somebody, I think that there's really two things. I think primarily that you're kind of looking for. You want somebody that believes you and believes in you, and somebody that invests in you. And I guess
who was that?
Coach Yeagley just walked in. So. Yeah, going on probably, 25 years now. He continues to be somebody that invests in me and leads me, and somebody that I know believes in me and supports me, and hope we're making him proud. But it's really cool to see him.
It is cool to see him.
And Mrs. Yeagley.
Oh, the yes, absolutely, the king and queen.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up, Dan Yeagley. Love you too. Thank you. Have a seat. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I feel left out a little bit. No. Here's your. You know how to use one of these?
No.
Is your first interview here on YSN?
Oh my goodness.
All right. So it was a setup. You did. Here, let's make sure we turn you up a little bit.
That was sneaky.
That was a little sneaky. I'm sorry that we had to do that. It's one of those situations, though, when you sent me that text message.
Yeah.
You choked me up. And I said, I know somebody that would really appreciate this. Send it over to Coach Yeagley. And I said, we'd love for you to be here. And the first thing he tells me is what? It's about Dave, and it's about the program.
Yeah, I know. I know that's what he would say.
So let's
my goodness.
Let's talk. Dave, could reiterate what you were just talking about as Coach Yeagley and Mrs. Yeagley made their entrance here.
Yeah, just I think it's really sometimes it's hard to quantify, what somebody means to you and what they've meant to you for so long. I think for me, there's really two things that stick out in terms of, caring about somebody. I think you want somebody that you hope that the people that you love, invest in you, and you hope that they support you and you hope that they believe in you. And I know I wouldn't be in the position I am if he didn't believe in me, and I certainly wouldn't be in the position I am professionally or in my everyday life if it weren't for the investments and the time that he spent investing in me. And trust me, I'm one of so many people in this community, that he's invested in and believed in over the years, and so I just, this time of year, it's, football becomes, especially this time, late in the playoffs, it starts to become where football is, consumes what you're doing as a coach. And I was just thinking about him last week and thinking, I don't know what's he doing? It's probably so different for him now, versus all those years where he was making playoff runs and spending, every waking minute trying to think about the program. So just wanted to let him know, that that we're still thinking about him all the time, and I know he's still thinking about us. But I wanted to make sure he knew that we weren't so distracted with trying to win football games that we lost track of the big guy.
But there's still priorities.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know.
The kids and the other your fellow coaches, and don't forget about Julia and the kids.
For
Those
sure.
are always important.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time we saw you was a retirement announcement here on YSN. So, I mean, talk about
that was
how
a long time ago.
Yeah, well, it feels like it. But how have you kept kind of the eye on the Raiders, so to speak, and eye on Dave, and how often do you guys, connect and talk about strategy and life and what it's like to be a head coach?
I don't talk strategy with David because David is way up here.
Okay.
I mean, way up here. He knows. I mean, him and the program is doing unbelievable things, and I'm more worried about. I know what he's thinking. I know what's going on. This time of year, you start pulling your hair out. And you start thinking about different things. And I watch film. Luckily, they haven't kicked me off huddle yet, and I can still get on. And it might be only a couple minutes here, a couple minutes there, but I still watch. And I talk to the kids, talk to the people in the community, and how everybody in the community is just so happy that David's in charge, and Coach Rock, what he's doing, and how he cares about the kids, and how he is lifting the program up to a whole nother level. And it makes me so proud. I'm so proud of him, and so proud of the kids and what they're doing. And it's awesome. It's fun to watch. It's fun to be part of, and from the outside, just watching how he does things and how the staff does things. And like I said, I couldn't be more proud of him and what he's done. I mean, even Coach Owen, first time we got to see it was last Friday, and he said, "Oh my goodness, how special it was to be able to watch you and watch the team and watch how the kids handle themselves."
There's quiet moments, obviously, as a head coach, where you're thinking, second guessing yourself, win or lose. Dave, what kind of mentorship have you had with Dan? What conversations, text messages, whatever it may be, that you've leaned on him, or just understanding the program, understanding the maturity that it takes, because no coach gets there overnight. Certainly, you have a great staff around you. Yeah. What has that transition been like, and how has this guy helped?
Oh, I've had more conversations with him and Kelly than I'm sure they wanted to have. There's still
our door's always open. That.
I know. There's still a lot of things that I call them for, and sometimes just to talk and just to vent, and or to, I guess it's just nice to know that I can pick up the phone and call somebody that I know is going to give me honest advice, and obviously an incredible perspective in terms of his experience and stuff, and somebody that cares about me, and I know that somebody that's seen it all and been through it all, and sometimes it's nice just to have somebody tell you it's going to be all right.
Certainly after a state championship, it's tough to give up the reins, right? Because you're thinking, okay, I think we can run this back. I think we can do this again. You took a long time to decide whether you were going to retire or not, from the head football coach position. And you wanted to make sure that it was in good hands. And you did that with Dave.
Oh, my goodness.
Talk to me about, that decision from that moment to now, why you're so proud, because you tell me all the time how you're proud of the kids on this in this program, and certainly Dave.
So proud. It's funny. We're sitting there at the state clinic. I had to speak down there. We won the state title, and we're sitting up in a hotel room, and I'm sitting there watching the coaches interact, talking about next year, talking about blocking schemes, talking about everything else, and I just said, you know what? I could step down right now. I was sitting back watching and listening, and I could step down right now, and I know the program's in great hands. I see how they interact with each other. I see how they do things, and I didn't say anything to them then. I went home and talked to Kelly first.
Good idea.
Yeah.
And then I pulled the coaches in and said, hey, you know what, this is what's going to happen. And opened it up for a conversation with them, and obviously it was a unanimous choice amongst all of them to have Coach Rock take over the reins, and then it just becomes politicking from there on out, because you never know what's going to happen, and
sure.
When all of a sudden, figureheads. But the main thing I told the people that were interviewing, that were going to interview these guys and everything else, I said, you got to think about what's best for the program. I mean, the program is the most important thing right now. Hiring Coach Rock is the most important thing for the program. Because if he stays, the other coaches are going to stay. There's continuity involved and everything else, and we always told the kids to make a commitment, and the staff has made a commitment for years and years, and that's something that's very important to keep that commitment and keep the continuity of the program and everything else. And he's lived the program. He's played in it. He's coached in it. He's been a huge part in it. I mean, he's been a coordinator. He's been more than a coordinator. He's been helping hand with the other kids, throughout the years, and he knows what they're thinking. He knows what they're doing and how they're feeling, and he's not afraid to tell the kids that he loves them. Yeah. I mean, how important that is. And he's the guy that should have taken over, and luckily they decided that's not luckily. They did what was right. And gave him the head reins, and and it's history from here on out, because what he's done the last 2 years is unbelievable. And like I said, I'm so proud of him and so proud of the kids, and how he's kept everything together and helped keep the coaches together and everything else. And it makes me feel great seeing the program go up and beyond. And you always want to see it grow, and I'm seeing it grow week in and week out. And that's just so important. I love seeing the program grow and the changes that he's made for the better, and it's awesome. I mean, I'm just so happy, and all the way the other coaches that Coach McClellan, Coach Owen. Is so proud of what you've done and how you've done it, and I know Coach McNay would be extremely happy with what you've done, and I know you never got to meet him. He would love you, though. He would love you, and just to see how the program's continuing to grow.
One of the things that I love is the fact that you keep watching tape, and you're evaluating not only South Range and your players, but the other players. I went down to the sideline with you right before the game, and you're like, 4 is going to be a problem today, yeah. and certainly he had his impact on the game a couple times.
Yes.
For you, when you look at what our boys have been able to do, I mean, the last time that you coached them, they were sophomores after that state championship. Now they sit here as seniors. Talk to me about what you see on tape, how you've seen them grow, this coaching staff grow, David grow. Talk to me about the program and how you feel inside when you watch it.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I remember yelling at these kids, and getting on them about doing crazy things in the locker room and chasing them around, and they've grown so much over these years, and a lot of that has to do, hats off to David and his staff and how he's brought them up the last 2 years and how they've grown, not just grown into great men. I mean, you see it. You see how they act. You see how they interact with the people in the stands, their families. You see how they interact with the other team. You see how they interact with the officials. Nothing speaks more of a program when the officials say, how great of a job you're doing, because it comes out in the kids. Yeah. The kids are a reflection of the coaches and the staff, and how the officials, who I've known for a long time, have complimented you over and over again, and the kids over and over again, on how they're playing the game right. And hats off to even we beat Fairless last week, and handily and everything else. But Coach Rach spent time with the Fairless staff last year during the winter and everything else, and talked to them about team building and talked to them about going through some problems. And don't be surprised if he calls you again, because he respects the program, respects what you're doing, and respects on how you're doing it.
Biggest takeaway I had was we're standing down there, they're about ready to turn the lights off, and I believe it was the Fairless AD. Correct me if I'm wrong. He said, "I hope you guys win it all." Yeah. I mean,
that was the head coach. Actually,
that was the head coach.
That was the head coach.
I mean, that was incredible to see that, and like, there's a way to be a good sport during the game and to win the right way. You guys certainly did it. The game was never in doubt. I think that's the most politically correct way to put it. But when a team leaves and they say, "We hope you win the whole thing," for you, probably the first time you're hearing it, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously we spent some time, over the off season, got to know Coach Sarbaugh, and he does a great job over there. Comes from a great coaching family.
Oh yeah.
And I think, once you start getting into the playoffs, a lot of these programs I think are more similar than they are different. That's why they're in the playoffs. It's made up of communities that I think are respectful and appreciate, like Coach said, the game being played in a certain way. And so it's definitely humbling, and we do obviously appreciate the support. And have a lot of respect for the Fairless program. So definitely appreciative of them.
And they'll be back.
Yeah, they'll be back.
That quarterback looked pretty good. Before was impressive.
Yes.
Impressive. So Peter Killey, want to give him all due respect. Mm-hmm. All right, so since he's here, you're playing Girard for the second time in the season. Do you have any questions for this guy, maybe?
Yeah, probably have a list of them. Yeah.
What about, Dan, what about you? You look at Dave, you've got to have something that you've always wanted to ask him. He has to answer. The camera's right there.
The crazy thing, you talk about Girard, for me, the scariest part of the playoffs is playing a team twice.
Yep.
It's just, I'd rather play somebody from Timbuktu than have to play a team twice. We've done it before, Cressy a couple times, Manchester, a couple times. I worry because the first time, all of a sudden, you beat them, you handle them pretty well and everything else, and then all of a sudden you got to come back and play them again. For me, my stomach turns with that kind of stuff, and it worries. I got butterflies. I have butterflies for you guys and the kids because all of a sudden they are kids.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, we beat them by 30 the first time. Well, you go back and look at McDonald and Lowville. McDonald crushed them by 30 the first time, and all of a sudden you got beaten the first round by the team that you beat.
That's right.
A 50-point swing is huge, and I worry about just kids being kids and taking a team lightly, and I worried that a little bit about Fairless, but you got them ready to play, and you got them playing well, and I know we've improved since then, and I know they've improved since then, but it's scary, and I feel for you. I'm glad you're doing it this time instead of me.
Is there a worry there? In the back of your mind, do you worry? Okay, because in my mind, the team that lost the first time has the advantage because they can change everything, and if they lose, we give it our best shot. You guys, if you change anything and end up on the wrong end of the stick, people are going to look at you and the staff and say, well, why'd you change it? You beat them so well the first time. Is there anything going on in your mind?
Yeah, I think anytime you play a team twice, at least in my experience when you were here, Coach, there's kind of two facets of it. One, if you beat them the first time, you're trying to make sure your guys aren't overlooking somebody. Right. With this group especially, I don't necessarily worry about that because they were, I think as a football team, we were left a little bit with a sour taste in our mouth the first game. We just didn't think we played well. And I know Girard would tell you the same thing. They didn't feel like they played well.
Sure.
So I think where it becomes a little bit dicey is just, as you move on, you don't really know what they're going to do different or what we're going to do different. And so I think as a staff, you have to be prepared for a lot of things and try to make sure we're doing a good job on Friday night of adjusting kind of on the fly. But I know our kids are hungry. I know it sounds cliche, but we talk all the time about trying to win every play.
Yeah.
Win one play at a time. And the truth is, I don't care what the scoreboard says. We lost a lot of reps the first time we played Girard. A lot of individual moments we lost and a lot of individual reps we didn't play well. And so we're trying to get as much stuff cleaned up. And it's also a measuring stick for us to see how much better we've gotten. And I know they've gotten a lot better. Yeah. You can tell on film watching Girard, they're a lot different now than they were at that time. They're a lot better now. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to think that we're the same thing. So it's, doesn't matter what happened 6 weeks ago. We don't have any control over that now. We have a chance to go play on Friday night and compete and try to put our best foot forward.
One of the biggest things that I've seen, and obviously the big headline, talking point, whatever, this is going to be, win, lose, or draw, the last game at Rominger Stadium this year for the South Range Raiders. Yeah. You guys have both played a lot of football. You've coached a lot of football. What do you tell your team when on an emotional night, right? Senior night's always emotional, but in South Range, we look at it and we go, okay, we still have this many weeks of hopefully playing at Rominger. What do you tell your team that, parents are going to get emotional? It's in the back of their minds, these players. What do you tell your teams, or what have you told your teams about your last game in front of the home bleachers and in front of the home crowd and things of that nature?
Go ahead, Coach.
Thanks. Well, it's always special. Home is a home, and you always fight for that home. Fight for that, that field, that home field, and the kids respect it. You can tell that, and they practice there every day. They play there every day. All their home games, and you can tell that. Home means something special to them. Yeah. And, you're defending the house. And, I know that they talk about it all the time, and I know that the kids believe in it because they understand how special home is. When you think back, and we've never lost an NEA game at home. Wow. And, that's special. I mean, because guess what? League games are always important, and you're always defending your home field. And, I know Coach Rock preaches it over and over again. He's a firm believer of how important home is, and he's won a lot of games at home, and he's playing and as coach, and he's going to have the kids ready. I know he is, and him and his staff is already preparing them. I mean, they had I only watched half practice, but you had a half decent practice tonight.
Yeah.
Just watch a little bit of it, and he's going to have them ready. I mean, they understand how important it is, and look at the community, look at the people here. The South Range community is so awesome and so special, and they're here for the kids, and they're here for Coach Rock, and they're here, to support the South Range community, and it's going to be a special night.
Anything to add?
Oh yes, a lot.
No, I mean, Coach said it. I mean, I think our guys take a lot of pride in playing for the community. We obviously love playing at home, and I think they take a lot of pride in trying to put a good product on the field and play the game up to a certain standard. The game, your last home game is going to be a game that you remember forever, no matter whether it's week 7 or week 12 or whatever. And I think our guys understand that. They also understand that their actions and how well we maintain our poise and handle business is going to determine whether or not it's a great memory for them or whether or not it's a memory that's going to sting for a while. So they understand that between now and then they've got to do everything they can to get themselves in a position to try to be successful. All
right, last question. Don't get mad at me. What is one of the traits you admire most about Coach Yeagley and maybe have adopted into your coaching style?
I mean,
you don't have to answer that. You really don't.
It's hard. There's so many of them. I think, probably for people that know us both, we're very different personalities, I think. I think the biggest thing, when I first got the job, I said I want to be as poised as Coach was, and I want to be as consistent in preparation as he was. One thing that there's so many things, but one of the things that I admire about the program is just the way he built it. It wasn't like we got an influx of 50 new players in a year. I mean, it was, brick by brick over 30 years of just relentless approach and trying to turn a 3-7 team into a 5-5 team, and trying to turn a 9-2 team into a 13-1 team. Just getting every ounce out of what he had every year, and that was really the secret, I think, to the success of the program still to this day, was that it wasn't built in a year or 2 years or 5. It was built over 30 years of grind, and probably, Coach, you would say before that. And it just came down to no matter what the record said or the scoreboard said or anything else, every day was important, in preparation. And I got to tell you, last week we were here early for the YSN show. You had to leave. Mm-hmm. So we got off the field at about 4:30. We come walking across the street, and we hear beep, beep. We got caught. So let me just tell you, Coach Yeagley, we would have been out there. We wouldn't have been here by 5:30 last week if Coach was still around. So
no.
But I think just, the things that he emphasized in terms of just the toughness, the preparation, smash mouth Raider football, the consistency, the first class, trying to, handle yourselves in a first class manner, respecting people, treating them the right way. All that stuff are things that I've learned from him and that we're trying to emulate every day.
And I guess vice versa. I mean, everybody else has seen a short sample size of what Coach Rock's been able to do. You've known him practically his entire life.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
What do you admire about this young man?
I love the way that he handles the kids. I mean, the kids are the most important thing in the program. It really is. And, he handles the kids so well, and he interacts with them. When he was a player, we can go back, you ask him some games that come stuck out in his mind, we're playing up in Fremont. Oh, my goodness, that was a cold night.
Yeah.
And he knew everything. I mean, he knew exactly what was going on. He knew he'd come off the field and say, hey, so-and-so's not filling his gap. He's too wide. He was a coach on the field then. All through his 4 years of playing, he was always there and always knew what was going on. So his knowledge of the game was unbelievable, and it still is. And he's still continuing to learn, still continuing to grow. He's a student of the ball game. He understands. He's making great connections, and he's starting to, get his network together, which is very, very important. And I'm happy to see him do that, and especially the people that he's starting to talk to, and because they're also good people and good coaches. But way he interacts with the kids is priceless. It really is. And the community. The community's fell in love with him, like I have all my life, and because he's special. He's just very special. And like I said, how he treats the kids, how he treats the program, how he carries himself, always in a professional manner, always looking to improve, always, his motto, win the next play, win that one play at a time, win that next play. The kids have bought into it, and they bought into it, and they understand, hey, guess what? I messed up, but the next play is more important, and how important that is. And like I said, I admire him, and I admire what he's doing, and I admire how he's raised the program to a whole nother level. And he's special. He's special. South Range community has a good one. Got a real good one.
The South Range Raiders take on the Girard Indians this Friday, Rominger Stadium, Week 12 of the playoffs. Winner advances, loser goes home. Ladies and gentlemen, a special treat tonight, Mr. Dan Yeagley and Dave Rach.
Thank you.
And, by the way, we forgot the tagline. Go ahead.
Yeah, go Raiders.
Go Raiders.